The Pima County Jail was shut down for 2 hours after an inmate was found with fentanyl and xylazine, also known as tranq. The adult detention center was closed yesterday for possible fentanyl contamination. The suspect, 39-year-old Andrea Mendoza, booked on charges of drug possession and promoting prison contraband. 5 people were exposed to the drugs, including 3 corrections officers. The booking area was closed until the area was decontaminated.
A man is behind bars this evening accused of stabbing his ex-girlfriend to death at her Glendale home. According to court documents, 58-year-old Victoriano Alejo stabbed the victim because she started dating someone new after they moved in together. 43-year-old Alma Escobar was rushed to the hospital with multiple stab wounds but did not survive her injuries. Police say that he also threatened her children, saying that they would be next. Alejo is facing multiple charges.
Tonight, Fox 10 investigates assaults on students at a private residential school in the East Valley.
Specifically, cases of staff members accused of getting physical with the students, which is against protocol. After combing through several police reports, Fox 10 investigator Justin Lum shows us what's going on.
Inside Canyon State Academy.
They're supposed to use de-escalation techniques. They're supposed to talk to the kids, try and calm them down. But every time we come out here, we come for the same thing.
Where challenges of protocol, discipline, and restraint collide.
He grabbed me by my legs. So he put me on my back and my head hit the floor.
What is the state's Department of Child Safety really up against?
We've been having a lot of issues with Canyon State, so they don't really give us videos without you guys here. So.
Calling on law enforcement to step in and advocate for delinquent youth and at-risk children attacked at the academy. April 8th, 2022, a Queen Creek police officer responds to Desert Lily Academy, the all-girls school located at Canyon State Academy. Body cam footage and videos obtained are blurred by QCPD since this is private property and minors are involved. The campus is state certified, licensed with the Department of Child Services, and owned by right of passage. Sarah Chanot is the DCS agent who called QCPD.
One of the staff was trying to restrain one of the kiddos, and in the process of taking her down, she has bruising, and I'm going to be frank, a big like it looks like road rash down the side of her face.
Security footage shows the student walk up a ramp to a building that is password restricted. Robert Stapleton is the staff member who follows her and forces her away from the door before grabbing her from behind. A struggle ensues and he takes her to the ground.
A little context. She's been all over the place all day.
Okay.
They've tried to keep their hands off of her. And she's been in this building before. My understanding is she's gotten like razor blades from the shavers and other kind of contraband things.
That's Brian Heath, an executive director with Right of Passage, the company operating CSA. But according to DCS, staff members are not supposed to put hands on students, and it took 2 days to notify police about this incident.
They are what we call a QRTP, so technically they're not supposed to be putting their hands on these kids, but they do, and the kids have injuries 90% of the time.
Police did submit charges of assault for Stapleton as well as the girl who allegedly tried hitting him. The county attorney's office declined to prosecute Stapleton due to no reasonable likelihood of conviction. April 28, 2022, Officer Christian Williams arrives at Canyon State because a student has been punched in the chest by an employee. The alleged reason?
Excuse me, Miss Clark, I please gotta pass gas. And he just hits me in my chest. Like, I literally was asking to pass gas. Like, he hit me so hard. Have you seen the video?
I haven't yet.
I literally had to go sit down for a second to catch my breath so that I could walk up here and report it.
Surveillance video shows the student walk to the front of the classroom, approaching staff member Anton Clark. Watch Clark strike him in the chest with a closed fist.
In my perspective, being 30, you're a little less than half my age, right? I couldn't even fathom a closed fist striking you with any real intent.
CSA suspended Clark immediately. He later told police that the victim would not sit down, disrupting the class. Clark was charged with aggravated assault, but completed the felony diversion program to have his case dismissed.
Some way, shape, or form.
May 19, 2022, Officer Williams is back at CSA for another assault call.
So my kid tripped on the floor, got a bloody nose, and while he was on the floor, Pena knelt down in a kneeling position and put his elbow on the left side of my kid's cheekbone, rubbing his face into the ground. So now he has 4 burn marks on his face.
The DCS agent is talking about Edwin Pena Lopez, a CSA staff member. Classroom surveillance video shows Lopez tackle a student to the ground. He gets on top of the boy, holding him down.
And then he came and put his elbow on this side of my face. And then that's why this all got scraped up.
According to police, Lopez says the student was told to leave the class due to bad behavior. He explains the technique he used called a 2-shoulder assist.
The hold that you were doing, is that a hold that is taught here?
Yeah, I believe it's called a shoulder assist, where you escort the student physically.
Officer Williams asks another staff member about the type of restraint used.
Is any of that trained? Is that?
No.
Lopez is charged with aggravated assault and enrolled in the felony diversion program. On July 18, 2022, Queen Creek police returned to campus.
He kept grabbing me, telling me to go inside. He shoved me, so I shoved him back. And then he tried to restrain me. And he grabbed me by my legs and my head hit the floor.
The 16-year-old student says staff member Philip Miller tackled him onto concrete. He tells the officer he was upset about something and needed a minute to calm down before being taken to the ground and placed in a seated restraint.
Stretch your legs out, and someone sits on your legs, and they pull your arms back.
This happened nearly a month prior to police arriving. CSA's program director Timothy Gloston tells police the force was unnecessary.
We should have definitely given him some space. He's not listening to him. We should allow another staff to take over.
Miller would be fired, and prosecutors declined the aggravated assault charge due to the victim being reluctant. But why did it take 3 weeks for anyone to notify police about the assault? In 4 of the 6 assault cases we reviewed, DCS, not CSA, contacted police first. I spoke to the chief of Queen Creek PD, Randy Bryce.
What we're seeing the majority of is that sometime during their review of information or a report, an internal workflow process, DCS is determining, hey, we need to call the police on this because we think this meets a certain level of a criminal act.
Police reports reveal on July 20th, 2022, a DCS caseworker tells police that a CSA staff member assaulted a kid 2 days prior, allegedly throwing the boy into a wall, causing him to black out. And on August 6th of last year, the same DCS agent notifies police about CSA staff allegedly squeezing an 8-year-old boy's shoulder so hard it left bruising. There's no video of these 2 incidents, and MCAO declined to prosecute both cases, citing no reasonable likelihood of conviction. Chief Bryce says QCPD has offered CSA training on de-escalation and restraint tactics.
But DCS really is the governing agency when it comes to what they do in those situations. But anytime juveniles are involved, we're very careful. We look at this stuff very seriously, and we're committed to making sure that we're following through on those.
Police reports show commonalities brought up by the staff members investigated. Some saying Canyon State is understaffed, leaving employees outnumbered by students. The restraints performed are not effective, and techniques taught by CSA do not work for real situations. CSA officials did not want to speak on camera, but a statement reads in part, "The isolated incidents occurred a year ago, and since that time we have worked in partnership with the Department of Child Safety and Queen Creek Police Department and have substantially reduced the number of incidents and calls to law enforcement. The actions of a few terminated staff should not define the hard work of the hundreds of dedicated employees working every day to deliver quality services to Arizona youth." The Department of Child Safety says CSA has been transparent in reporting to DCS through a hotline. Quote, "The department has partnered with Canyon State leadership and their risk management team to provide better training and resources for staff. There has been a reduction of events and improved outcomes for youth as a result."
Fascinating report. Justin, you focused on 6 cases, but is it wider than that?
Yeah, we wanted to ask about the wider scope, so we specifically asked Queen Creek Police how many cases of assaults involving staff and students have been investigated. And so far, as of June 26 this year, there are 19. And remember, just so everyone knows, Queen Creek Police really started and began in the town in January of 2022.
Yeah.
So about a year or so of investigating these cases. And from what we know, 4 of these 19 have led to charges, 5 declined by the county attorney's office, 5 or 6 without probable cause were determined by police, and 4 still under investigation or pending the review of the county attorney's office. So there's a wide range there.
So what about the staff members that we saw in those videos?
So the only termination we know about through police reports is one. CSA could not disclose which specific staff members were fired, but through that statement there's an indication that a few staff members are no longer there. But for all 6 of these police reports, we'd advise people who are interested to head to fox10phoenix.com to read all of these reports in their entirety.
They're all there.
Picture.
Yeah.
How many? Just curious. This treats kids with what issues?
I mean, behavioral, mental, these are at-risk youth that are pretty much under the custody of the state, most of them. And so there are some issues and there's some trauma, but the question here is the training. And as we saw in the reports from staff members who are being questioned, they feel that they are overwhelmed sometimes, the ratio of staff to student. That was one of the factors in kind of how these situations play out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, more coming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. Great report. A Mesa family heartbroken, grieving the death of a 16-year-old girl who was killed in a hit and run on an East Valley freeway.
A day later, the driver turned himself in, bringing some closure to Mercy DeTemple's loved ones. Fox 10's Lindsay Regis joins us live with more from her family tonight.
John and Christina, in 3 weeks, Mercy was supposed to celebrate her 17th birthday. Instead of planning her birthday, her older sister is planning her funeral, something she never thought she'd have to do so soon.
The first word that just comes to mind is just fierce. You know, fierce in everything she did.
Charity and Josiah Thompson, sister and brother-in-law to Mercy DeTemple, have raised her for the past 4 years.
She was so excited for her freedom to be 18 and free from things that held her back in life, and no, she doesn't get that.
DPS says Mercy was hit by a truck while walking along US 60 at the Meridian off-ramp early Sunday morning. The driver did not stop.
Our best guess was that she was walking to one of the churches.
Before knowing what happened, her sister checked Mercy's location on her phone and noticed it was in the same area for hours. So her brother-in-law went to look for her.
I got down there and I saw like a boot in the ground, and I started thinking the worst.
State troopers came to their door later that night.
She was gone by the time authorities got to the scene.
At that time, the driver had not been arrested.
It's not a mental position that I can ever imagine being in, to just leave.
According to court documents, 45-year-old Robert Moyer II of Peoria turned himself in the next day. He admitted to falling asleep while driving and said he hit something but didn't know if it was a person or another vehicle.
I don't want her death to be a mysterious one. I want people to know that this is the person who did it and this is what happened.
Now her family is only left with memories.
She didn't open up very often, but once she did, you never forget her.
A GoFundMe has been set up for funeral costs. If you'd like to take a look at that, you can visit our website, fox10phoenix.com. Reporting live, Lindsay Regis, Fox 10 News.
Back here in the Valley, news alert: a shooting in pursuit we told you about earlier ends with one suspect in custody in the East Valley. A second suspect is still on the run.
A big police presence at a construction site near 68th Street and McDowell. This is a look here at the scene. Video from Skyfox shows a suspect taken into custody just in the past hour. Police say this started as a shooting call near 7th Street and South Mountain Avenue. Officers responded and they tried to pull over this person, but the driver did not stop. Police say they tracked the car to this apartment complex. It looks like it's under construction. They were were able to get one suspect in custody. Officers are now still searching for a second suspect. The victim from the original shooting call was taken to the hospital but is expected to survive. And you're advised to avoid this area. It's right there in the South Scottsdale area because there is a big police presence and investigation ongoing.